This is my favorite question so far because I get it so often. The question is, I feel hungry even after I've just eaten. Are there foods that I can eat that will actually tell my brain that I'm full and I've already eaten? And the answer is absolutely yes. So there are several components to this question. I'm going to break it down for you. We spend a lot of time on this in our weight loss classes, in our online community, Brain Fit Life, and in the books. The Omni Diet, I spend a lot of time on this. So I'm going to touch on it here and send you away with some pearls. First of all, the type of brain you have makes a difference. Some people have compulsive brains. It's like a mouse on a wheel that will not get off, and they're stuck and they're rigid. And once they get a thought in their head, especially about food, they're not going to let it go until they go and they accomplish that goal. There are other people who are impulsive. They just don't think about food all the time, but the minute that they cross, say, a chocolate cake, it's theirs. They have to have it. They have no brakes. They have no willpower. That's because they lack executive functioning in that part of their brain, in the most important part of their brain, the frontal lobes. There are people who have a combination of that, so they're compulsive and impulsive, and that's a real challenge. So think about it. You can never let thoughts go, and also every time you see something bad, you have to have it. So that's a problem. There are people who eat because of mood issues, so maybe they're sad, they're depressed, or they're anxious. So when you have brain issues like that, there are things you can do. One, with your food, which I'm going to talk about, but also with supplements. There are supplements you can take that will actually calm down your brain, make you less rigid so you don't constantly think about food, or you can take supplements that help to boost that blood flow to the part of the brain that's your executive functioning, so you aren't as impulsive. You can take supplements that help to improve your mood. So just so you know, there are some tools out there. Hypnosis can be really helpful. Prayer can be really helpful. Exercise, probably the best thing you can do to improve almost all of those issues. You have lots of hormones in your body, but there are some hormones that are specifically connected to your metabolism, to how you feel after you eat food, that make you hungry or not hungry, and they send signals to your brain. And if those get out of balance, you're going to have a problem. Your brain's not going to get the signal that you've eaten and that you're full. So that is really specific to this question. One of those hormones is insulin, which is released every time you eat sugar. That is, if your pancreas is working right and you don't have a certain type of diabetes, then you will get insulin released every time you eat sugar. You've got ghrelin, you've got leptin. So those are the hormones they need to be in balance, because they're going to tell your brain either I've eaten and I'm full, or I am still hungry, even though no matter what you eat, you're just not going to feel satisfied. You could eat all day long and you're not going to feel satisfied. And certain foods will put those out of balance. So let's talk about food for a minute and how those hormones get out of balance. So insulin is released every time you eat sugar. In other words, the cycle of low blood sugar can wreak havoc on how you feel after you eat. And it can make you literally addicted to carbohydrates, addicted to sugar, and you'll just always feel hungry just quickly after you've eaten. It also, those same foods, especially processed foods, things like ice cream, dairy, certain, almost all processed foods really, cheap oils, will thwart something called leptin. Leptin is the hormone that sends the signal to your brain, telling your brain, you've eaten, you're full, you don't need more. So pay attention to what I'm saying here. Sugars and processed foods mess up that cycle. Okay, you want to watch what you eat because it matters. So when you have low blood sugar, let's think about this. There are two states your body hates: low blood sugar and it hates high blood sugar. So it hates when you eat too much sugar and you've got this high blood sugar state. Your body does not like it. It's bad for you. It does all kinds of damage in your body. So it has to get out of that state, and the way that it gets out of that state is it tells your body, okay, we've got a lower blood sugar. What do? We send insulin in. Insulin to the rescue. So insulin comes into your body, and it's going to bring down that blood sugar as long as everything's working okay, which eventually it will not. You will wear out your pancreas. But while things are working okay, it brings down the blood sugar. But I just got done saying that your body hates low blood sugar too. In fact, it hates low blood sugar way more than it hates high blood sugar. Low blood sugar is considered a state of emergency by your body. That's why symptoms like being shaky, having headaches, fatigue, irritability, some people just get downright mean when they don't eat, when they have low blood sugar. It's because your body is sending you the signal, this is a dangerous state for me. I need you to get me out of this state right now. So insulin came and brought your blood sugar down, but now your body is really unhappy, and it's going to make you do whatever it takes to get that blood sugar back up. Fastest way for you to get that blood sugar back up is to eat sugar in the simplest form you can. So you start craving things that are going to raise that blood sugar really fast. And that is why when you eat carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, not all carbohydrates are bad, but when you eat simple carbohydrates that quickly turn to sugar, you will crave carbohydrates. So eating sugar makes you crave sugar. It also thwarts that signal to the brain telling your brain that it's full. So how do you fix it? You fix it by phase 1 of the Omni diet is eliminating all sugar, bread, rice, pasta, potato, anything that quickly turns to sugar. Did you know wheat bread turns to sugar faster than table sugar on most on a glycemic index? Most wheat breads are higher on that glycemic index than table sugar. So I want you to eliminate all bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, everything for phase 1. Now you're going to be adding some stuff back in, but I want to break that addiction. I want to break that cycle we just talked about. Okay? And then you can have a little bit of fruit, like maybe a half cup of fruit a day. No more than that, because what a lot of people will do is they'll turn to eating 4 or 5 pieces of fruit a day. That is sugar. So I want you to just have small amounts of fruit, lots of vegetables. So what's going to help send the signal to your brain that you are full? We now know what to do to tell it, we don't want you getting the signal that you haven't eaten, but what can you do to send the signal that you have eaten and you're satisfied? Small amounts of protein and healthy fat with every meal send the signal to your brain that you are full, you have eaten, you are satisfied, and you don't need any more. And that is why I have people initially, when they first start the program, eating about 5 times a day. And a lot of people say, well, that's too much food. Eventually, you will not want to eat that much food. I almost promise it. But when you start the program, I don't want you hungry, but I want you eating the right foods. So as soon as you start to feel that, I need to break that cycle. And as soon as you start to feel, okay, I have to have something, okay, eat it. But I want you to eat some protein and some healthy fat and a lot of vegetables, okay, a lot of vegetables. I want you to fill up on the vegetables, a little bit of protein and healthy fat. And it never fails. In the classes that I teach, when people come back in week 2, 75 to 80% of the class will look at me and they're like, I cannot stick to the program. And at first I was like, why? What's wrong? They would say, I can't eat all the food. I'm not hungry. I don't understand it. There's something wrong. I've never experienced this. I'm not hungry. I can't eat all this food. That's music to my ears. That means your hormones are turning around. I don't want you hungry initially. Eventually, you can cut out one of those meals. That's fine. I don't eat 5 times a day. But when you first try to break that cycle, I don't want you hungry and I want you eating the right foods because we're going to reset those hormones.